Hey everyone, welcome to the podcast today. The title of this show is Generation Alpha and the Nervous System, Why the Eyes Are the Gateway to Regulation. Generation Alpha is the first generation born fully in the digital age. Screens from infancy, online learning as normal, AI as background noise. But what is this doing to children's nervous system and their perception? In this episode, I talk about how Generation Alpha is growing up visually overstimulated, yet perceptually underdeveloped, and why the future of health lies not in more information, but in embodied regulation. Through the lens of my process, Functional Vision Integrative Body, I discuss why breathing, movement, posture, primitive reflex integration, and visual awareness are essential tools for raising regulated humans in a dysregulated world. This is not about fear of technology, it's about reclaiming perception. Welcome to the Berne podcast. Today I want to talk about Generation Alpha, the children born roughly from 2010 onward, and why I believe they are the most neurologically challenged and potentially the most perceptually gifted generation we've ever seen. And I want to connect this to my work as a perceptual educator and with the framework of Functional Vision Integrative Body, which is my process. Because what we're seeing isn't just an attention issue. It's a regulation issue. Who is Generation Alpha? Generation Alpha is the first generation born into iPads from infancy, streaming as normal, online learning, algorithms and content, AI integration. They've never known a world without screens. And here's what concerns me. Not from a fear perspective, but from a physiological one. Their nervous systems are developing inside constant visual stimulation, and that changes perception. The core problem, overstimulation and under-regulation. These children are visually hyper-stimulated, vestibularly under-challenged, physically less integrated, breathing more shallowly, spending less time in horizon-based environments. And when you combine that with reduced nitric oxide production from chronic mouth breathing and indoor living, you begin to see the following: attention instability, anxiety, sensory overwhelm, learning challenges, sleep dysregulation. This is not pathology, it is adaptation. But adaptation comes with a cost. Why this is a perceptual issue? In my process, Functional Vision Integrative Body, we look at eye-body coordination, primitive reflex integration, breathing patterns, lymphatic flow, posture, light exposure, nervous system tone. Vision isn't just eyesight. Vision is how the brain organizes experience. And if a child's visual system is constantly locked into near-field screen engagement, the brain adapts accordingly. peripheral vision narrows, breathing becomes shallow, sympathetic tone increases, the body lives in mild threat mode. Nitric oxide and oxygenation. Let me connect something important here. When children breathe through their mouth, live indoors, have minimal nasal breathing, experience chronic stress, nitric oxide levels tend to drop. Nitric oxide is essential for vasodilation, oxygen delivery, cerebral perfusion, immune regulation. Low nitric oxide doesn't cause disease, but it contributes to poor oxygen delivery to the brain. Over time, this stresses cognition, and you see this in sleep apnea patterns, attention instability, and even early metabolic changes. Breathing matters, nasal breathing matters, and movement matters. What Generation Alpha actually needs, not more content, not more apps, they need horizon-based visual engagement. What is horizon-based visual engagement? Simply, it means letting your eyes rest on the far distance, wide field views, the natural horizon, instead of locking into close, narrow, screen-based focus. Think mountains, ocean, desert, long trails, ski slopes, open fields, and the sky. Not staring, soft, panoramic seeing. And why this matters. When you engage the horizon visually, your brain shifts out of task mode, doing mode, near vision, screens, books, phones, tablets. All of these activate focused attention and your sympathetic tone. Far vision activates global awareness and parasympathetic regulation. Translation: your system feels safer. Your visual system rebalances. Horizon viewing relaxes the eye muscles, restores peripheral awareness, improves eye-body coordination, and it reduces visual fatigue. This is the opposite of tunnel vision. Your breathing deepens naturally. Wide visual fields reflexively encourage slow, fuller breaths, and that supports nitric oxide production in the nasal passages. You get better oxygen delivery, calmer heart rhythm, and you don't have to try. The body does it automatically. Your posture reorganizes. People subtly stand taller when looking far away, and that improves spinal alignment, vestibular input, and lymphatic flow. It's built-in somatic therapy. And why this is especially important now, modern life trains constant near focus, narrow visual fields, indoor lighting, seated posture. Over time, that creates sensory overload, shallow breathing, attention instability, and nervous system vigilance. So horizon engagement reverses that pattern. It's free regulation. So how to practice? This takes about 2 to 5 minutes. You already do this intuitively when you're walking, when you're just looking at the sky. If you live in a nature area, maybe looking at the mountains or the ocean. So what you do is you can either stand or sit upright. Let your gaze travel to the farthest point you can see. Relax your eyes, don't focus on one object, and let your peripheral vision widen. Take 3 to 5 slow breaths. That's it. That's the reset. You can do this outside whenever possible, and I emphasize outside. Between computer sessions, after emotional conversations, when you feel overstimulated or overwhelmed. 2 minutes makes a difference. And here's my quote. Horizon-based vision tells the nervous system there is space, and when the nervous system feels space, it starts to heal. That's the essence. And children need adults who do this practice already. Adults can then help children become better regulated. So where my method, functional vision integrative body, fits. It's not about diagnosing, it's about educating. Teaching how the eyes relate to posture, how breathing affects focus, how reflexes shape behavior, how light affects mood, how movement restores coherence. For Generation Alpha, this is foundational. We don't teach perceptual integration, and if we don't teach it, we risk raising children who are brilliant with technology, but they're disconnected from their bodies. That's not a moral statement, that's a physiological observation. So here's the good news. Generation Alpha is incredibly adaptive. I know, I've worked with a lot of them. Their pattern recognition is super high. Their tech fluency is off the charts. It's extraordinary. If we combine that with embodied regulation, we get something really powerful. They could be the most integrated generation yet if we as adults guide them properly. But that requires us to shift from more information to better integration. So if you're a parent, educator, therapist, or simply someone interested in the future of human perception, this is the work. We must teach children not just how to consume the world, but how to regulate within it. The eyes are the gateway, breath is the bridge, the body is the anchor. This is why perceptual education matters. And this is why the future of health is not just medical, it is neurological, relational, and embodied. That's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, take care.